So what's up, Headspaces? VJ, the brother from the ancient mother Wakona, with another Headspace album review where we front and center focus in on rappers who are doing the most in all angles and all crevices of the South African rap sphere, for the culture, for you. Our latest up is somebody who dropped a project a little while ago, but it's still in season for us to kind of go into its ripe juices and feast on what it's about and what it has to offer. A rapper from the town formerly known as Grahamstown, now known as Imakanda, which by namesake follows the history of one of South Africa's most pivotal figures, somebody who was really in the mix in the spirit and the substance of what this country has to offer. So I'm always excited when MCs from small towns come through with big albums, because what that says is that the ambition of hip-hop has always been to transcend whatever limitations people believe you have around you, but doing that by working with those limitations. So you don't jump over them like some kind of imaginary fence that doesn't exist, but you embrace them and you say to yourself, how do I work with the limitations that have been sometimes subversively entrenched, sometimes aggressively forced, but sometimes organically expressed around us. And I think Azlan Makalima as an MC is somebody who has done his rounds around Eastern Cape ciphers, has kind of presented his name as one of the people who believe in rap, love rap, and do rap from a place that's, I feel, different from most. What is this different from most that I'm talking about? Because of rap's commercial appeal, a lot of people tend to be attracted to its pop allure. Or to put it simply, a lot of niggas just want to be famous or known. You know, a lot of people have fantasies of ego based on rap. A lot of people use their shower caps, you know, handles as a microphone and imagine huge stages. And this mentality of, I want to rock huge stages and I want to be the best and the biggest artist that ever was, is admirable, but a lot of the times is rooted in capitalism selling us the dream of the individual great self outside the context of a collective of a people. And I think cats who love rap from this place don't really love hip-hop as a culture. They just want people to worship them. And it's clear in their music. Azlan is not one of those people. Azlan raps because he loves the art form. He pays delicate attention to telling stories. There are MCs who love rap because it's a medium of expressing your story to everybody else's story. Yeah, sorry. Great. Sorry y'all for that interruption. Siachola, kumnandi. It's life. But as I was saying, Azlan comes from a place where his love for rap emanates from rap's power as a storytelling tool. And I think those kind of MCs are the MCs that outlive those who are more driven by the fame, because the fame is something that subjects you to all kinds of socio-economic, you know, implications, brand power, corporate attention. But if you just want to tell stories, then all you want is to have a team of people who can help you put together a body of work that can express what you are in this moment in time to people who gravitate and relate to you. And this is what Let There Be Light is. Let There Be Light is a moment in which Azlan kind of breaks out into the rest of the world using the attention of the internet to give us the story of who this man from Makanda and his love for rap and hip-hop is and what it centers on. And in listening to this project, I must say, it's a project that made me reflect on why we love art to begin with. Art communicates the common emotional motivations that we all have, regardless of how different our lives and our ideologies are. And I think the greatest art is something that's able to peek through with a lot of honesty about itself. Let There Be Light is a brutally honest project. Azlan raps from the heart all the time. Like, he sits down and he talks to you as if you were a good friend of his. He raps to you as if you were somebody that was genuinely interested in hearing his story. He doesn't do this thing most rappers do of rapping over you and kind of assuming dominance over you, because that's the kind of cap that most rappers think they have to wear. Cap. Oh, see what I did there?
Yeah.
Pun intended. Azlan speaks from a very humble place. And this humble place is what allows this project to remain integral. Because musically, it's all over the place. The mixing does not balance itself well enough for the music to cohesively flow. Structurally, it's kind of done in a way that convinces me that there was a zigzag approach to the way that they set the track list, because it seems to go from old school boom bap influence to new school trap influence to old school boom bap influence, and it does this thing where it weaves in and out of from the old to the new, the old to the new, and it's just so consistent that it feels like it isn't a mistake. And I want to talk to that. Azlan feels more comfortable in the old school. He's definitely a child of the cypher and more somebody who's a kindred of boom bap. Therefore, when he raps on songs that are open and allow his voice to breathe, it's more likable. But then when you jump into this auto-tune and this need to kind of imitate what trap is, you can definitely feel he's playing out of his range and out of his comfort zone. And it really just honestly comes across terribly and amateurish, because you can tell this is not even a style of music he might really be into in and of himself. He might like trap, but he can't make it. And as a result, trying to make music that has elements of trap feels disingenuous to the person who clearly stands out in this project as a homegrown lover of hip-hop, as a craft of lyricism in the boom bap tradition. And I think this project for me fails more on the technical aspect than it does on the conceptual aspect. Conceptually, it's beautiful. It's an album of sincerity, and sincerity is a lot to be asked for in the art space, where a lot of artists feel they must navigate this place where they veil themselves in gimmicks and brand and in anything people will like in order to kind of fish them in. Azlan just comes as who he is, unassuming, and hopefully you'll be into whatever it is he's bringing. And what he's bringing is anecdotes about his upbringing, simple stories about why he loves to rap and why he feels rapping for him is one of the most important things to build his spirit, and thus to be able to build everybody else's spirit. Technically, again, the mixing is not on point, the drums do not fluctuate well with the bass lines, and as a result it doesn't match up with a lot of the sonic standard that's out there right now. The leaning onto trap comes across in a very wildly amateurish way, which make Azlan look like a complete fool for even trying. And also, Azlan's vocal projection still needs a lot of work. As an MC, he still feels like he's reading a lot of his rhymes from the page that he wrote them in while he was recording in studio. Sometimes he just feels like he's closing his eyes and winging it according to verses he's written in the past. And there's nothing wrong with both of those approaches. You just have to be skilled enough for it to come across in a way that feels organic. So it doesn't. In a lot of ways, Azlan's spirit is likable and his message is organic, but the delivery and performativity of the lyrics is done in a way that still needs a lot of work. He's still rough around the edges. He blatantly talks in a lot of the songs. He talks lyrically, and I think where talking becomes rapping is the performative aspect, where you take the best of what your voice has to offer and you bring it out with an absolute confidence that relates to the emotions you are trying to convey at that moment. So a lot of Azlan's verses drown because they sound red, and as a result the words don't come alive as per their emotional register. So because of that, Let There Be Light kind of dwindles into a project that doesn't even reach the halfway mark into average, because a lot of it needs a lot of work, but it's a glimmer of hope, and I like what it is about because it says there's still a lot of people who just love rap for rap's sake. Not for what it can do for them, but for what it can do through them. And that's a revolutionary stance to have in times where internet culture and a lot of the mass market consumerism is kind of influencing young kids with this misconstrued understanding that the whole point of being a rapper is to floss on niggas. And that's not the point. The point of being a rapper is to tell your story. And if your story is selling things to us, if your story is being a salesman for capitalism, and we don't really get who you are, then you don't have much of a story. And I want to say shout out to Azlan for sticking to the script of who he is. And I want to say, if this is anything to go by, I hope he learns from some of the things that I'm pointing out, which, if worked on, could literally elevate Azlan to being one of the greatest MCs in the Eastern Cape and South Africa as a whole. But for me, although this is pretty much a 3.5 to 4 out of 10 on a good day, the spirit of it is a 10 out of 10. The spirit of it, which is the spirit of, I do it because I love it. And I love it enough to try and find the resources to allow myself to keep on doing it. And that's the kind of spirit that Headspace is about. We do this because we love it. We love the culture. And without the love, there isn't a closer inspection at ourselves. There isn't a look into where we might need to still grow. So I hope in that spirit, Azlan, I love the energy, and I hope you can grow to truly understand how to factor in the sonic aspects and the vocal work you still need to do as a rapper. Other than that, to do something because you love it is the ultimate beginning point to how all great things start off. So the greatness is definitely evident in the man. And through every album review I do, if the artist is clear about what they want to achieve and is true to that, you've got to respect that. You might not love how it's truly put across. They might also kind of get lost in how performing, recording, and mixing and mastering are all things that factor into a body of work. And sometimes you're not good in all those aspects, but if you really want to stand out as an artist, you have to. But ultimately, where it all starts is an artist who's clear about their story, themselves, and the love of what they do and why they do it. So I want to say shout out to the love of the culture. It's Viwe, the brother from the ancient mother. Siyakhula sonke in our unique ways. And that's all these reviews are about. They're about how we can grow together, how we can define and identify what in our music and art might still need to grow, and where we're even going right as we are right now. Love you.